Hey, thanks for stopping by Mystic Messages. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I want to thank my new subscribers, minus the cross watchers out there. However, this channel is open for anyone who wants to learn and expand their horizons a little bit. Okay, and you're not always going to like what you're going to hear on this channel because all I do is speak truth. And many people either don't want to hear truth or they're not ready for the truth. And those who aren't ready won't like what my messages entail, unfortunately. However, I do from time to time, you know, do something slightly different, a tarot reading or whatnot. But that's not what this channel is about. Okay, my job, my calling, is to hopefully enlighten the planet with truth, give you a different perspective, and to see things from a higher viewpoint. That's what I'm here to do. I can do tarot readings. I can do, you know, psychic readings, but that's not what I'm here to do. There's plenty of channels out there. If you're interested in that, then by all means, please find them. But this is about those who are on a spiritual path, looking to enlighten themselves and see reality for what it is. Okay, that being said, Source wants everyone to know that, you know, people who receive things, okay, easily, okay, are deceiving themselves. Okay, they think they're deceiving others, but they're deceiving themselves. When you chase clout, money, and you use these things, power, in order to gain popularity with the collective, you're not fooling anyone but yourself. And Source allows this to happen. Source allows you, it's giving you enough rope to hang yourselves with, and eventually the rope is going to run out, which it's already starting for some people. Okay, and there's those of us out here who are doing things in a positive way. Okay, and the positive way, the righteous way, isn't always the easy road. It's not. And many who I'm speaking to right now, you've been wondering when your time is coming. You've been putting goodness out there. You've been, doing positive things. You're trying your best to do what Source is asking you to do, but yet you see no results. By the same token, you notice all this corruption on the planet, the corruption that surrounds you personally. In our politics, politicians, the corruption, the money, the greed, the lies, you know, and you wonder how is it that these people are where they're at, and there's a reason why they're at where they're at, because they're to show you that the mighty will eventually fall. They will start to crumble. Okay, they think they got away with it for years, but they have no idea what they did to their karma. Okay, or they might know and they're unwilling to accept it, but everything has to balance out at some point, and that's where we're headed to. Things are going to start balancing out. Okay, we've been going too much in one direction where the darkness has overtaken. Okay, they keep those who are asleep occupied, and how do they do that? With cell phones. They do it with video games, soap operas, all these things that promote nonsense. TikTok videos that mock people, unsuspecting people that might fall down the stairs, and people think that's funny, which I don't get it. But anyway, that's their nonsense. I don't have to follow that. But they also have, they're distracted by other things, by the media out there. Many media, all this, a majority of the media is that lie because they are controlled by the powers that be, and they're not giving you the truth of what's really happening. Unfortunately, they're telling you what you want to hear. They're spoon feeding you, and everybody is so interested in being spoon fed that they've lost the ability to think for themselves. They're told what to do by their churches, by their peer group, by the media, by TikTok videos. Also these same people teach their children the same kind of garbage. Instead of parenting, they put video games in front of them, video games that teach them how to engage in war, how to steal cars. I mean, the stuff out it's I mean, you want to talk about deplorable, and that's my own personal opinion. Source is not happy with that either, unfortunately, because what you're doing is instead of parenting and teaching your kids, you know, This is not, this only applies to those who have children, and with these video games and cell phones because they don't want to be a parent. They just want to shut their kid up and throw stuff in front of them. Then you shouldn't have had kids, unfortunately. You know, because it's not teaching. What that is doing is it's raising a society of desensitized individuals, and this is intentional. That desensitization. I don't know if I'm saying that correct. Excuse me. You know, I don't edit these videos because I feel like the messages are what they are. But anyway, you know what I mean. They try to make things seem benign. They try to make video games seem benign when they're not. How about, there's so many other video games out there that don't have to do with war, with theft, with prostitution, all the negative vibrations of life that you're feeding your children because you don't want to be a parent. You know, you want to be a lazy parent. You want the television, the video game to raise your kids. You want the cell phone to raise your kids or to teach them to have the same beliefs that have corrupted you and perpetuate the sickness in this society, making people think that, money is important. Okay. Now, yes, unfortunately, we do need money in this society. And those who have been blessed, unfortunately, refuse to share that wealth and they want to keep people dumbed down. The top 1% doesn't give a shit about you. And I don't care what political side you're on. I don't care what politician you are. Okay. They are not helping. Okay. They're only thinking of themselves while they're fleecing you of your money. Politicians out there selling coins with their face on it. Okay. Let me tell you something. For you Christians who purchased that coin with your Messiah's face on it, you are breaking the commandments. You know. And if this sounds harsh, I'm sorry. It's just the reality of it. You are breaking the commandments, and you need to be told. You are placing something other than God before God. And ironically enough, that face comes on a gold coin. That is your golden calf that you're worshiping. And you don't realize it. And you think it's going to have some value someday. It's not. It's not. All you're doing is making an evil person richer. You're making evil people richer. You're allowing the dark to take your soul. You know, all that garbage that you're being sold, golden sneakers, Trumpy bears, what have you, all that it's nothing but garbage. It'll never be worth anything. Okay? And you are placing that before the God that you proclaim to worship. Okay? You only seem to want to follow the commandments when they're convenient for you, unfortunately. And again, I'm sorry if this sounds harsh. This is what is coming through me directly from source. And the reality needs to be put out there. The reality also needs to be put out that the rest out there who are on the correct side need to start voicing, using their voice that God gave them, using the voice that Source gave you to communicate without fear. Okay? It's not easy. It's not easy to be the person who has to stand up out of the crowd to let people, or to help people wake up. But unfortunately, those of you who are out there that I'm speaking to know that you have an assignment. And unfortunately, through fear and not feeling worthy, you're not speaking your truth. You're not sharing with those around you. You know better, and you can do this. If I can do this, you can do this. You know, I'm feeling a lot of fear coming from the collective right now. Fear to speak. You've been kept down so long by the powers that be, by your family, by your friends. You've been told that when you try to bring them truth, that you're the crazy one. you know but this is all part of the plan of the darkness to make the people who speak the truth look crazy and make those that lie the pseudo gods of this planet, which they are not. Okay, we all know better. And people who are blessed with money, if they're not sharing with others, if Source blessed them and they're not sharing, they're not doing their part. Okay, What they're doing is they're making their pockets fuller from people that they know worship them as a god, which they are not. And this is very unsettling. It's very unsettling to source, and things, for those who remain asleep, they're in for a rude awakening. For those out there who think that they can get away with murder like they've been getting away with breaking laws where laws don't apply for them, and that includes all people with money. They think that they could buy their way out of everything. A time is coming when that will not work anymore because people are waking up, you know. Perfect example. I'm going to use my ex as an example. Okay. His whole entire life was being a clout chaser, looking for people with money. So what did he do? He found, and I don't mean this in a bad way because I don't, I'm not judging anyone, but he found an extremely morbidly obese man who happens to have clout and money and is now using him for his resources. Because the the morbidly obese man, unfortunately, has no self esteem, has a poor body image. So he would tolerate that type of a nonsense. And I'm here to tell you that you shouldn't have to tolerate that from anybody. Maybe if you love yourself a little bit more, you wouldn't be chasing somebody who just wants you for your money. And that's just a fact. It's unfortunate, it's sad. And also, these people have joined together, unfortunately, as a coven, thinking that they have some type of a power, and they've been breaking laws and doing whatnot and thinking they're getting away with it, but that's not happening because eventually everything comes out. Everything comes out. The truth will always find its way out. And the little imaginary world they've built for themselves is going to come crumbling on top of them. Okay? And that is just karmic retribution taking place. They have done so much that was wrong to so many people, not just to me. I mean, there's a list from here to Mars of the things that they've done and think that nobody knows, including those that assisted them. I have news for you too. The very few of you who are out there working for him, okay, watching these videos, reporting back, being the flying monkey, you're going to get hit with the same karma, unfortunately. And I actually feel bad for you. I do. Because you have no idea what's coming. You might think you're high on the hill now, but when you fall, it's going to be hard. And Source is done playing. You've been warned. You've been told to stop, but yet you persist. You follow somebody who's already lost their soul, and he's taking yours along with his. He has a list for who he works for. Okay, but enough about that because we're not going to continue on that. This is just a message directly from Source. For those of you, you know who you are. You know, the ones who remain quiet out there, who don't have enough guts to have a real profile. I know who you are. Source knows who you are. And we're not afraid. But my point was, people like this are going to eventually receive what they have coming to them. And that includes those positive people who I'm speaking to in this collective, those who have done the correct thing, all those who have done things to you, their karma is coming as well. All those that called you crazy for having integrity, all those that called you a fool for doing the right thing, their time is coming. And what Source wants you to know is not to listen to those words playing over and over in your head. You are not stupid. You are not crazy. You're not a fool. You know the correct path that Source wants you to be on. You know what's in your heart. And you too see the corruption around you, beside you, before you. And Source wants you to feel good enough within yourself, okay, to express the words that are being sent through you, the words that are being channeled through you. And yes, I say channeled because you know in your heart that Source is speaking to you and that you are loved and you are valued, and the rest doesn't matter. Even though it's a more difficult road and things don't happen always the way we want them to happen in the time that we want them to happen, the good things will all come in time. But we have to continue to push forward, remain with integrity, speak with truthfulness, and not be fearful of those who want you to fear them because they have already lost the battle and they know it. And with each day that passes, they know that their time is up. They might have enjoyed for a little bit because they have forgotten that there's a whole other existence beyond this three-dimensional planet. They totally forgot about that. They didn't think about tomorrow, kind of like the grasshopper and the ant story. They didn't think about tomorrow. They played and played and played, thinking it was fun to hurt and harm people, to malign you, to malign others, to support politicians that want to hurt other people. Everything is being recorded. Everything, every single thing that we do is being recorded. Okay, so remember that nothing is hidden, and all the good that the good have put out there is going to be returned. It's going to come to you. You just have to stay strong, hang in tough. We're going to get through this together. Know that you have an entire soul family out there. And if you're not finding it on this channel, please, there's other channels to find it on. But find your soul family. Search for them. Speak your truth because what you say has value. And speak it with, knowing that the divine realms are behind you. Okay? When you know that nothing can harm you, you're protected. You're free to speak the truth. This is what Source needs for those who are following this divine path to do. Speak your truth with conviction, regardless of who you're speaking it to, a friend, a family member, a coworker, or even a person on the street who's doing something wrong. Use the voice that God gave you. Use it because you can. And I want to encourage you to do so. It might be difficult, especially when, you might have a channel out there that you think is not progressing the way that it should. Don't worry about it. Source will take care of it. Just keep pushing forward. And the correct people will find whatever you're putting out there. They'll find it. One person at a time. A lot of people, for instance, when I first started this channel, I can't tell you how many emails I received from people trying to say, oh, well, we can help you grow your channel. Now, I'm not interested in that. I was told when I created this channel that it will evolve in its own time. And that's exactly how I'm leaving it. And I won't stray from that. So, those people who have sent those things, okay, I appreciate the offer, but I don't work that way. I'm not looking for the easy way out. Okay? The easy way out is for losers, in my opinion. I don't mean that to be judgmental. It's just how I feel about the thing. If you can't do things with integrity, then what good are you? If I can't go to sleep at night with a clean conscience, knowing that the messages that I channel and put out there are what I'm actually receiving, then what am I doing? It's not about that for me. It really isn't. I'm here to help raise the vibration, assist those who are seeking. And if there are some people on here who, disagree, you don't have to watch it. You don't have to come here. But you too can learn something from it. You too can learn something from it. You can realize, you can open your eyes. Unfortunately, the karma that some of you have reaped is going to have to take place. You reap what you sow. And that's okay. It's a learning lesson. If you learn from it, it's a positive thing. If you don't and you choose to continue to stay on the same negative path that you've been following, unfortunately, then that's the end result that you're going to receive. But things are starting to get really real now in the world. And those who are awake can see it. And if you're asleep, I beg you to wake up because you won't be prepared when things finally hit the fan. When the shit hits the fan, you're going to cry. It's kind of like thinking about the story of Noah and the ark. Now, regardless of whether that's a true story or not, we can learn from it. People laughed at Noah when he was building this ark and collecting the animals. But when the rain started to come, All the people who laughed now wanted to get on. All those who did not want to help build this ark, all those who mocked him, what happened to them? And that's exactly where we are now. There are people out there laughing at people like myself who are trying to spread a message, calling us crazy, calling us nuts, and that's cool. Let them do it because we know where we're headed. But to those people, do you know where you're headed? That's the difference. Okay. I might not be rich, I might not be famous, and I don't ask to be any of those things. If God happens to bless me with money some way, I will be the first person to share with those in need because that's what's important to me. Okay. I don't need much. When we have gratitude for the very little that we have, God will continually bless you and always make sure that you have, as long as you're going on the correct path. Because money is fleeting, material things are fleeting, and we're finite beings. Our human bodies die, and you can't take it with you. But what you can take with you is the integrity and love and truth that you put out there. And nobody can take that from you, not a single person. So, in my opinion, it's better to stay on the high road than the low road, even if it's difficult, because I know where the end leads. I know that in the end, those who struggled and did the right thing will be the ones to lead the new planet. Okay, and many of us did not have that intention, but we were chosen for a reason. And that includes the good ones out there, with the exception of the cross watchers. Those of you who are sincerely part of this community, this channel, it's going to take you too, not just me. And I want to give you the courage and send you love. I'm even sending love to those horrible people out there, to the things that they did to me and other people. And I wish them well. I know where things are leading for them. And unfortunately, some things have already begun. And they could laugh right now, but guess who's going to have the last laugh? And I don't find it funny. But the devil will have the last laugh because not only did they get your soul, they will have you as a slave for eternity. And you did it to yourself. Some food for thought. Sorry to have such a somber message, but this is the message that was coming through. It may be intense, but if you heed it, you can move yourself forward. I want to wish everyone the best again, and thank you for being here, and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care.